Greetings and salutations. Welcome to a somewhat spontaneous lockdown live stream, which I should have. Somebody said, mate, you should probably tell us in advance when you're planning on doing these, so we know when they are. And I'm like, yeah, I probably should, but I've been decorating all day, and I didn't know if I was going to do it. So it's one of those things, mate, you know, when you fit these things in around life and you don't even know whether you're actually going to do them, it's kind of difficult to. But I'll plan on doing that in the future. I'll try and be better at scheduling them. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll see how it goes. So we'll wait for a few people to turn up, make sure everything's okay. Do you like my knob? It's somewhat... not very ostentatious. It's in the way, you could say. It's not very inconspicuous, and it's somewhat in the way of the keyboard. But I've got a feeling this might result in slightly better audio. It's definitely not going to get rid of the echo, but I think the mic used to be kind of a foot and a half, 2 feet away from me in the past, so it was picking up a lot of reverberation around the room, but now it's sort of right in front of me. It might help with the audio quality, but it is indeed right in the way of the keyboard, so I'm going to be like this. What am I typing? I can't see shit. Right, so as people slowly, hopefully turn up, please do feel free to announce your presence and let me know you can hear everything okay. So I know everything's working all right. Oh God, this mic stand's filthy. And today, RD sounds good, mate. Yes, working from home. Yes, aren't we all? Oh, actually, no. I'm off this week, but it's been another wasted week. I mean, we're off this week. It feels no different than any other week, really. I've just been sat in front of a PC for most of the week, so it hasn't felt like I've been off, but yeah, technically I've been on holiday this week. Hi indeed. Right, I'm going to make sure my XSplit transitions work. Oh mate, look at that. So for today's live stream, what I've done is I've changed the layout. If you were on yesterday's live stream, mate, audio was great. Where you're from? England, mate. London 10. Actually, no, about 250 miles north of London in Newcastle. Next to Scotland. Right? You can what I mean, eh? Yeah. But England, Brexitville. So yeah, this here is the new camera layout, because I was in a circle over here in the last couple of tests, but I was finding, like, when I was watching my live streams back, I was kind of leaning over and like talking and looking at the other monitor, and I was sort of leaning out of the circle, and it didn't look good. So I've made that a little bit bigger, pushed it out the way a little bit, because nothing really much sort of goes on around this area. I'll keep tabs on it. If it turns out that there's sort of a focal point in that part of the screen and you need to see something in there, then I'll reevaluate that. But I shifted that over there. I've got a ticker going down at the bottom, just a bit of text, just because, again, like when I was watching the chat back, I saw a couple of questions come through from people, and I'd completely missed them, because you read one question and then you think, that's a good point, I'll talk about that. So you start talking about it, and then a whole bunch of other questions come through, even though, granted, the live stream like this isn't that busy, but a whole bunch of other questions come through, and then you just miss the ones that some people ask. So what I've said is, if anyone's got something that like, I really want to ask this, or I really want to comment on that, then YouTube's got the super chat facility where you ping a super chat and then it flashes up on screen. It's like a big red message, and it's also a donation as well, so it gets your attention, and then it's just a way of supporting the channel as well. So I'll put a little message there for that. So if there's anything that anyone really wants read out, then that's something that hopefully I'll not be able to miss. So to assist with that, I'm going to try and get my own live stream off to one side of the screen so I don't miss them. I've got an Audible chime as well when a super chat comes through. But I don't know if it's going to play that audio through my PC or whether it's going to be through the streaming PC. So I haven't quite figured that out yet. So how do I find out where my own live stream is? So I need to get that up. There he is. There I am. Right. Okay, that's not a good idea. Right. Yes, mate, you got it this time, mate. Yeah, I know you said I should announce it in the future, and I'd planned on it. I'd planned on scheduling this one, but yeah, I kind of got here and I thought, how do I even schedule it? Because I launch it live from a different program, and I thought I'll figure that's a future problem. I'll figure that out in the future. How are you setting this up? So I've got my main PC over in the corner. That's the one that I've recorded all the videos on. That's going to be the one that does all the CPU, GPU intensive stuff. But then there's an HDMI cable piped from that PC to a PC in the corner, and that PC is receiving the signal of what you're looking at, and that's broadcasting out to YouTube. So it's what they call a streaming PC. So it's receiving the visuals from the main PC and then broadcasting it out. The benefit of that is when you enable ray tracing, if you do anything intensive on your main PC, it doesn't interfere with the broadcasting of the signal up to YouTube, so you don't drop frames or anything like that, which is something that I did experience when I first started live streaming a couple of years ago. And I found that as well when I've been doing some videos in the past. Some of the videos I've done where I've enabled ray tracing during them, it knocks all the audio out of sync for that recording. So the best thing to do is use a separate PC. But yeah, is all this stuff from Google and YouTube? No, not really. No, the only thing from Google and YouTube is hosting the video. Everything else is third-party stuff. Where's the best place to look for work as an inventor operator? Depends where you're from, I suppose. I don't know where you're from. If you're in the UK, you would LinkedIn's probably got quite a few resources. Loads of companies advertise their jobs on LinkedIn. And every recruitment consultant worth their salt should be utilizing LinkedIn to the fullest extent for advertising their vacancies. So, yeah, I would say LinkedIn's probably the best bet. LinkedIn's kind of become if you're in the UK, we've got Rightmove, which is like the search engine for all property websites. Every estate agent that sells a house puts it all onto Rightmove. So I think LinkedIn's kind of become that for recruitment. So I'd say that probably the best bet. Right, are we all good here? How many's turned up? We've got 17 so far. That ain't bad. Right, so I think I'm going to stream for probably about an hour and a half. But we know how that goes. We know how that always ends up. Right, okay, so I think we're going to get started. We're going to do a bit of VRED, we're going to do a bit of rendering. I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to create a Formula One scene. This is just me messing about, doing what I enjoy doing. It's not necessarily a learning experience. I'm not here projecting any kind of educational message. It's not a teaching exercise of any description, but I don't know, someone might pick something up as I do it. This is just me dossing about and live streaming it. That's all this is. But like I said, if you do want something read out, if you want to catch my attention, because I am going to be, VRED does require a lot of attention and a lot of concentration, so I'm going to be kind of focusing on the main screen. So if you do want, you don't want something missed, then please do utilize the super chats. That would be most appreciated. Anyway, let's get going, mate. Let's get going. Right, what am I doing? I need to find a car, don't I? Right. So, I'm going to use ACFL Formula One car. So I don't know if anyone's into sim racing, but ACFL is a mod for Assetto Corsa. I think they do mods for other simulators as well, but I got in touch with them a couple of years ago and I was like, I'm kind of wanting to do some rendering on YouTube. How's about, would you give us your model for the car that you put into the simulators, thinking they would just go, don't be stupid, we're not giving you that. And they were like, yeah, of course we will. Oh, okay, thanks. So they gave me their Ferrari car, the Mercedes car, and the Red Bull car. They are the cars from 2018, so they're a couple of years out of date, but the models are actually pretty good. And they are very accurate to the cars from 2018. The best car to drive in the simulator is one called the RSS Formula Hybrid mod. If you're into driving simulators anyway, that's the best one to drive. But it's modeled, they don't have, in fact, ACFL don't have a license to use, they say they do, but they don't have a license to use the Formula One teams and their skins and their names, but they just do it anyway. I think they just change their name every year and just disappear and start up it as a different company. That's very dodgy. But RSS, they call their car the Formula Hybrid. It's very obviously based on a Formula One car, but for legal reasons, it's called Formula Hybrid. But that's the best car to drive. But this one's based on and modelled around the actual cars. And what ACFL do is when the teams announce their cars, sort of February time, they take photographs, or they grab all the photographs, all the marketing shots, and then start modelling the cars up around it. So all the little diffusers, all the wings, all the skins, all the graphics, they're all accurate to that car. It's dead clever. They did a really good job of it. So, have I FBX'd this? Where did I put it? That's it there. So I've already done this one, but that's from a long time ago, and I wasn't all that... I mean, I was pretty good on Vred back then. That's like sort of May 2019. But I've learned a lot on this program since then, so I think starting from scratch will probably yield a better result. So 16 meg FBX, that doesn't seem right. And I vaguely remember this FBX coming in a bit weird, but we'll bring it in, we'll see what happens. I think it needs a bit of work. This certainly is not going to be quick, and I ain't finishing this in an hour and a half. This is start to finish. This is going to take multiple live streams. This is just, and I'm not doing it in a hurry. Just chilling, just playing. Right, let's bring this in. Center in the origin, put it on the ground. The wall socket's on the right this time. Yeah, I flipped the camera, mate, because... Well, are you looking at... Where's my mouse? Here it is, right, yeah. So when my webcam was on this side, and I turned my head to look at the monitor, I was looking kind of at the screen. I was looking into the graphic, but because I've moved my webcam on the other side of the screen, when I look at the same screen, I was now looking away, and it didn't look right. So I've mirrored the camera, so the whole camera's been mirrored. So yeah, the plug's been mirrored. It's just because I'm looking at the screen recording, so it just helps for aesthetics that you're looking into the visual and not looking away from what you're actually doing. That's time for a 24-hour stream, and yeah, I think the wife might have something to say about that. I would if I could. Does my shirt look mirrored? The Hollister sign's probably flipped as well. Right, let's get cracking. Let's see what we've got to play with. I can't even remember how this car comes in. What materials have we got to play with? So this model was originally done in 3D Studio Max, an education version, might I add. I don't think they realised that I would have saw that. But they supplied us with the Max file that they modelled it in. He opened it up and said, "This was done in an education version of Max." Like, well, you're selling this, so you shouldn't have modelled this in an education Max, because you're selling it for commercial gain. But I won't tell, even though I just did. Anyway, they've got bigger problems to worry about. They're using the F1 licenses and the F1 team names when absolutely sure they're not supposed to. It costs, basically, you have to pay an obscene amount of money to Liberty Media or whoever runs Formula One to be able to use Ferrari, Haas, Renault, Red Bull, the names of the drivers, the skins, the brand. You've got to pay an obscene amount of money to actually use the image. And I'm pretty sure ACFL haven't done that, not when they're selling a game asset for like €2. They haven't done that. So, yeah, I think they've got bigger things to worry about than using an educational version of Max. Right, so it's come in black. And the reason it comes in black is a mystery to me. I think it might be... Has it come in with baked shadows on? No. Has it? Is it because... Oh, okay, the diffuser's come in all black. That's just great. Why would it do that? Why would it ruin my life like that? So what I'm going to do is create a plastic, and then I think I'll copy the plastic and then pick up all of the materials. I would do shift and all, but then you pick up things like the environment and the shadow planes, which I don't want to pick up. Right, and then I want to paste the attributes. Yes! Just like that. And just like that. Oh, it's a nightmare working in a 1920 by 1080 window. Honestly, using any CAD application, Inventor, Vred, Revit, AutoCAD, whatever it is, when you're using an ultra-wide monitor, it's so good. It's so much better. Then you go back just cramming it into like a little window like this. It's a nightmare. But first world problems and all that, right? So I can see what I'm doing now. So the next thing I'm going to do is get shot of all of the extra game assets. So you can see in the rims, you've got these little filler bits. These are like when the wheel, I don't know how the game engine works, but they've got extra bits for when the wheels turn and damage nodes and stuff. Like rim, blur. So what I tend to do is find everything, I can't see the damn keyboard, everything that's called blur, and then just delete. Gone. And then find anything that's called, damn it, right, I need to sort this microphone out, this is ridiculous, right? Is there anything called damage? Negative. Right. Next up, I'll tell you what, we'll save it just to make sure it doesn't bomb out. So once I've saved it, Vred will start then doing the autosave, so I'll drop it on my desktop. Half-Life Alex. If you've got VR, play Half-Life Alex. What a game! I'm only like 10 minutes into it, and then life took over. But it was awesome for the 10 minutes I was playing it. I'll call this the Ferrari stream. Right. Oh, it's come in the right size. Oh, that's good. Sometimes when you import the models, they come in kind of, I think, in centimeters or sometimes in meters. This one's coming okay. It looks about the right size. That is good. All right. And then we'll do some. Shall I change the background? I'm not a fan of the standard Vred background. This sort of greyish weird dome. So I'll bring in something else. Let's bring in a sphere. So I'm not going to bring in a fancy HDRI yet. I'll leave that for the final hurrah. But we'll bring in... let's go to Dropbox. So I've got various backgrounds that I've pinched from Keyshot. Because Keyshot's got a pretty decent set of these sort of high contrast studio backgrounds. I like that one. That one's quite, that's the default keyshot one. And you bring that one in. Yeah. Doesn't look all that good. Oof. God damn. Nope. Nope. I think I'll keep that one on, but I'll just turn off the background. Get some nice reflections off of that one. Right. Next up, let's edit the camera. Let's drop this down to 25. Let's bake some shadows. This chat's still working, everyone seems quiet. Yes, it's working good. Yes, it had froze for a bit, so I wasn't sure whether it had broken. I'm used to a bit of a steady stream. Right. Let's bake some shadows. Of course, what I normally do after I've done this is I would bake the entire car, but then that takes a couple of hours to do, which I don't really have that kind of time, so I'm not going to do that. But let's drop them on the ground. CBD or THC? I don't know what that means. Write out the full words, mate. Don't know what that means. Oh, the vape. It's just regular. It's not THC or anything. It's just whatever. I don't know. Oh, balls run out. Propylene glycol and vegetable something or other. It's just regular old vape juice. Check out HDRI Haven for free HDRIs. That's, yeah, I'm a Patreon of HDRI Haven. I've been paying that bloke like $5 a month for the last year because he's done some awesome work. But HDRs. So yeah, I've got like dozens and dozens and dozens of HDRI Haven backgrounds. All of these. And then tons of his backplates as well. So yeah. Yeah, I'm very, very familiar with HDRI Haven. Yeah, I've been a patron of his for like about a year or so. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Me neither, mate. Me neither. Just shiny stuff. Right. We're not quite on the ground there, are we? No, we're just playing with cars. We're just playing with cars. It's just me messing about. If you want to watch, you can watch. If you don't want to watch, you don't have to watch. That's all this is. It's a fun time lockdown live stream. It's not an educational experience. It's not tuition, nothing like that. It's just fun time lockdown live stream. I wonder why putting that on the ground isn't putting it on the ground. wonder if there's an object somewhere poking out below the tyres. Everything appears to be visible. You can see the bounding box goes below the tyres, but I wonder what object's doing that. Odd. What program is this? It's Vred. It's up here in the top corner, Autodesk Vred Professional. Or you can get Autodesk Vred Design as well. There's two of them. Well, actually, there's Vred Presenter. There's various flavors of it. There are various licensing nodes of it, but the two main ones are Vred Design and Vred Professional. What am I doing? Right. Tick, 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 tick. Boom. Did that help? Did that help? Ah, it did. Woohoo! Well, I don't know what that did, but that seemed to have helped. And we're now on the ground. So now that we're on the ground, I'm going to rebake. Getting into my first official Vault administrator position. Any tips or pointers? Yeah. Good luck. Make sure you've got a hotline to a reseller and a backup plan, because Vault's going to take up a lot of your time. Now, Vault's good niche work once you're into it. There's very few people in the world who understand the ins and outs of Vault. So once you do, you become very valuable. But you also become very responsible, and there's a lot of responsibility on you. Because when shit hits the fan, there's very few people available to dig you out of a hole. It's just one of those kind of positions. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you're at. If you're inheriting a system, then just learn the shit out of it. Just figure out how it's been set up. If you're not sure how to figure out how the system's set up, maybe bring a reseller in, ask them how it's been set up, whether it's been done well or not, because it's pretty easy for anyone who knows about Vault to walk in and instantly see whether a Vault's been set up good or set up bad. Because the last thing you want to do is to learn all about Vault based on a system that's been implemented badly. But yeah, on my Plural site, I've done a course how to install and set up Vault Professional. So that was a full-on huge structured training course, which I did. YouTube's not the place for full-on Vault training courses. It's not suitable for that. So that was something that was done over there. It's a completely new system. Yeah. Work with the reseller. Just learn the shit out of it. Build your own Vault at home. You can put Vault on if you've got a laptop and a desktop or something like that, you can put Vault on a desktop. Just learn the shit out of it. Break it, rebuild it, break it, rebuild it. Just always have a test system. Never have a live Vault without a test system, and always have a backup. Even if you Vault on a virtual server and your IT swear blind that they'll always be able to restore the virtual server, always have an ADMS console backup. And that'll save you bacon. Keyshot HDRIs look super flat. Yeah, I think you're right, they do actually. It doesn't look too bad once you drop some materials on it, but yeah, it does look a bit flat actually. Oh, this. I keep forgetting your bloody Substance one. The Substance one's awesome. Keep forgetting about it. And I can never remember what folder it's in. What you should do, mate, is when you go create environment Substance Panorama, that should default to the sample folder. So what I've got to do is I've got to go File, Open Examples, and then I've got to copy that path to the clipboard, cancel this, and then go Create New Environment Substance, and then paste that into there, and then boom, boom. So it would be nice if when you go create Substance Panorama, it would default to that. I know most people would probably be importing their own, but if it would default to where the sample one was, that would be nice. Am I going to leave the background on? Or should I turn that off? So I turn it off. Bump the res. You missed Showcase. Do you know what? I had an idea for a video, which I was going to do about 3 or 4 months ago. I'd installed Showcase, or I tried to install Showcase to like do a nostalgia trip. Now that I've got into Vred and a bit of Keyshot and a bit of other bits and pieces, the idea was to kind of install Showcase, go back to it, and see whether it actually was good, or whether it was just good because that was the best we had at the time, and we were really only ever used to Inventor Studio and everything else we had back then. And I can't activate it, unfortunately, so I was stuck to like the 30 days, and I couldn't get anything meaningful done in that kind of a time frame. But within the brief time that I was playing with it, I kind of got the feeling that it's kind of rose-tinted goggles for a lot of people when you're thinking back to Showcase. It was good, but it's not as good as you remember it being when you look at what else is out there. Like for what you can buy now, I know Showcase was included in the collection though, so I guess it's complicated. But yeah, it wasn't super brilliant. It was buggy. You could get some good results from it, but it just didn't go far enough in a lot of areas. But yeah, it would have been nice if, like I keep saying, every time I go to Autodesk University, I keep saying to the invented product managers, would you lot please just go to the code of Inventor, just shift select the entire area where Inventor Studio exists, delete it, just delete it out of your code, go to the cupboard where Studio is, because you've got this product, which granted it's not the best, but it's just dormant, it's doing nothing, and just paste it into Inventor. It's not that simple. I'm very acutely aware it's not that simple, but just do something with it. Like get rid of Inventor Studio and put Showcase in its place, even if it's a pop-out window, like a separate program. I don't care. Just do something with it. It's an awesome program, just dead in the water, doing nothing. It's such a shame. I did get it installed at the end, but like I said, I couldn't activate it because it died in 2017. So my licenses I can't activate that far back. So yeah, I couldn't keep a hold of it, unfortunately. I might have a fresh hard drive that I'll be able to get another 30-day trial out of it, and I might do like a nostalgia trip again on it. But they were meant to kill it in 2015, bit the bullet, and bought a perpetual 2014 because of it. Well, I think it started maintenance mode around that time, and then it died in 2017. So yeah, maintenance mode started at around 2014, 2015. Maintenance mode is when they just sort of essentially sack off the team and there's no more updates or anything. But yeah, I don't know. It's still, I mean, I did the RIP Showcase video, and it's sad that it went, but you know, and it's also sad that like there's nothing really, even after all this time, there's nothing really that they've replaced it with for Inventor customers. People can subscribe to the likes of Vred Design, but that's the same cost as an entire product design collection license, and it's not the same market. And the guys from Vred would say that as well. They'd say like you know, yeah, we'll take your data, sure, but you know, we're not going to pretend like we're specializing in architecture or manufacturing or anything like that. So we're not here to replace Showcase. But I think Autodesk were like, I think I remember the website when Showcase died, it was like, oh, here's your alternatives. You can use Fusion 360. Like, I don't think so, mate. I don't think, or 3D Studio Max. Like, whoa, steady on. You can't ditch Showcase and then push people towards 3D Studio Max. That's a bit of a learning curve. What? Mentalists. Right, let's drop some shadows on the body. Yeah, I don't think most people do this, but I like looking at pretty pictures and I like texturing it up whilst there's shadows baked on it. So I is gonna do that. I think high is probably a bit too much. When you bake high shadows on these, sometimes you get like weird artifacts where the light or the shadow sort of joins across polygons. But yeah, we just messing about. Right, let's see how long this takes on the body. What is Vred Design? Vred Design's like Vred LT. Pascal might be able to confirm or deny whether that's how they think of it, but it kind of is. Vred Professional is this one. This is the all singing, all dancing. You get everything. It does literally everything, but you pay for it. Vred Design has the core elements of Vred, but it's missing a lot of the high-end top features. But it's like a fraction of the price. It's like 6 times less in terms of a cost. So yeah, I'd define it as like Vred LT, which I'm surprised it's not actually called that, because that's sort of like the standard naming convention for Autodesk products. I'm not sure why it didn't get that name, but different market, so maybe that's just different markets wanting different things. Yeah, large assemblies being pushed out of Inventor into other products do need optimizations. Even pushing them into something like Vred, you have to trim and just dress that data before you push it out. There's just too much detail. Like for any kind of visualization in Max and Maya, it's a different kind of modeling process. You know, they're like empty hollow surface models. You know, very approximate. They dumb the data down for performance reasons, whereas Inventor's just hardcore, as much detail as possible. Every nut and bolt washer is there and it's just pushed out in its full 1-to-1 scale, and it's dumped into a package which isn't designed to cope with that kind of data and complexity. So even on the most powerful machine that you can buy, you're still probably going to struggle with pushing out massive assemblies from Inventor. Right, let's see how my shadow's going to come out. Come on. Come on. Pro is for visualization artists with all the pro features. Yeah. So in my place, we bought Vred Design because it's quite a tough sell when you've already got multiple licenses of something like Product Design Collection. To go to your IT manager or to go to your purchasing manager or your CFO and to say, we need this new license that costs 5 figures. It's difficult to do that right off the bat. So for us, I kind of went in with Vred Design to start with, and then kind of upsell it internally once we've got it. But we're not the typical customer for Vred, so it's probably not such a big deal for the typical customer for Vred. Right, with the shadows on, that's looking sweet. Oh, flashy. What's going on here, mate? What is going on here? Why am I losing my ambient occlusion when I orbit? That's trippy. Funky town. Funky town. Right, I want to brighten this up a bit. That looks a bit dim. That's the thing with the substance one. You can't just there isn't just like one exposure value, is there? It's got multiple lights. So which light's this? Oh, it'd be nice if it turned off in the picture. I guess that's just a thumbnail. Which light's that? I don't even know which light that is. Let's just make it brighter anyway. There. That's obviously the blue one. Why has the blue one not got an intensity value? I don't know. Crank this one up. Oh, it has. Duh. Oh, whoa. That's a bit better. Right, it makes things a bit easier to see. I'll crank them back down when everything's done. In fact, when everything's done, I'm going to swap it out with a proper HDRI, so it's just for looksies. Right, let's get some more shadows on this. So I want to drop one on the wing, and then the front wing and the rear wing. Actually, let's do the wheels as well. And select nodes. That. You know what would be nice? FYI, Pascal. It's like just there where you're doing you've got a dialog box which is behind that, and you're like, I want to go to the Bake Shadows dialog box, but you're like, oh shit, it's already on. But you didn't know it was on because it's hiding behind that, so you've wasted time going up to here. So you can either just you get to this point, you're like, right, I've got a decision to make here. This is such a first world problem. What do? Do I go, oh, it's on? Do I move over here and then do that? Or do I just go boom, boom? What would be nice if there was just some sort of like tabbed array down here. So all of these dialog boxes were like tabbed along the bottom. So you could just click and then every dialog box you've got open would be there. I mean, I know this, but then even this here, you can't really... That wouldn't bring it, clicking that wouldn't bring it to the foreground, that would just turn it off. Window, it's not even there. I don't know. Pick the icon of the module on the left top. And drag it to the quick access bar. Which one's the quick access bar? This one. Ah! Right, but if that's behind, I've still got to double click it, haven't I? Yeah, but I've still got, like, even if it's on and it's behind, fair enough, I can just do that. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but, okay, point taken. Right. Bakey McBakeface. Well, my bacon, it's probably a bit too much here for high. Let's go for medium. Boom. Well, that was quick. How does it look? What's going on? What's occurring? Enabling ambient occlusion. I'm seeing diddly squat. And that looks absolutely gash as well around there. I'll have to rebake that. Do I care? I do actually, yeah. I don't know. Have you ever thought about streaming on Twitch? Not that I've ever used it. I have, mate. Yeah, I used to stream on Twitch when I first started doing this a couple of years ago, but nobody really wanted to go over to Twitch. I had to make a video on YouTube saying that I was live on Twitch, and then had to rely on people seeing that video and then opening up Twitch and then logging onto Twitch, and it was just like, what's the benefit of doing that? Why? What am I getting out of that? There's no discoverability for someone like me on Twitch. Like, I've got no intention of growing an audience on Twitch. And Twitch is an absolute garbage toilet of a website as well. They're just questionable. Run by very questionable people with double standards. I mean, YouTube's got pretty double standards as well, but no, I'm not. I mean, I've got loads of old videos where I've got like, I'm live streaming on Twitch baked into the videos, but yeah, that was just, you know, product of circumstance back then. It looks much better. That looks much better. So with high quality, we don't get that weird dark area underneath there, which I could fix with how do you do this again? You go into edit, geometry, and then subdivide. But I think this does it for you anyway. So we'll just clear that. We'll clear that. And then that one was done, wasn't it? So I'll just pick up all the tires. Actually, does this one have a separate material for the wall? It does. Okay. So I'm going to pick up both of them and then select all the nodes. And just do them all. That's pretty nippy. Pretty nippy. Alright, let's do the floor. So all this bacon shadows is pretty pointless. This is just for making it look good whilst you're texturing it up. Because when you enable ray tracing, it disregards all of this baked shadows anyway. And then it uses real lighting and real shadows. Let's turn on global illumination. Global illumination. 111116. Let's turn up to 512. This one's a mystery. Every scene that I've opened from someone else, this is set to equal energy. It's something to do with the quality of white or something. I don't know. That's on the to-do list as well to figure out, but let's leave that as it is. I don't think it's going to affect too much. But that's looking, I mean, just looking like that looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? But if we increase, get out of the way, out the bloody way. Let's increase interactive IBL to 3. Still frame reflections to 3. Oh, it's not bad that, like. Ain't half bad. Can turn on the denoiser, but that is a good quality model. Like, you can see the amount of detail that's in this. They've got all the brake ducts, all the little winglets all modelled up, and this is as good as, like, without having engineering drawings, it's as good as bang on to the 2018 season Ferrari Formula 1 car. So, looking, it's nice. Oh crap, that was the still frame one I did there. Never mind. I think AO showed a widescreen because with an FOV of 25 you were outside the environment. Oh. Really? Are you sure? Ah, you might be right. No. Really? But now it's working. How big's the dome? What's a cube? Oh, because ray tracing's on. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I am. Good spot, mate. Good spot, mate. Good spot. Right. Gonna leave that on. Okay, let's bake that. I'm just gonna bake the stuff I can see. Then that, and that. Oh, you didn't bake. Oh, you didn't bake as well. Right, let's select all the nodes. It's a canny whack. Boom. Well done, Pascal. God, you think he runs the show, doesn't he? Pfft. Smarty pants. Oh, yes. That's looking good. That's looking good. Right, let's get this halo. I can see your halo, halo. Inside. Actually, there's not too much to do here, really. See, what I normally do is I just pick up the top node and bake the entire top node, which takes flipping ages. But then it ends up baking a whole bunch of internal geometry, which you just don't need to do. So probably is a lot quicker to just pick the external parts and then bake them separately. And then soonies we'll be ready to drop the Ferrari skin on and then hope that they don't come through, find the stream and ding me for abuse of their image rights. Oh, you don't have the rights to use the Ferrari image. I'm sure they've got better things to do. Right. Oh, hello, break. Do you need to be baked? Yes, because I'm OCD like that. Select all of them. Bakey bake face. That's looking good, that mate. That's looking good. Right, let's do the harness, and then that, and then that, and then whatever that is. That. Stupid question, what is bacon? Not a stupid question, mate, because it took me a while to figure it out. It's difficult to explain. It's like when you're using Vred in this mode, so you're just sort of navigating around. This is called OpenGL mode, so it's not ray traced. There's no realistic light source being shone onto the model. It's sort of fake lighting from the scene. And what baking does is the software calculates where there would be a shadow if there was a real light being cast onto the model, and then it does what it says. It bakes the shadow. It sort of colors and then glues or stamps a shadow onto the model where a shadow would be if you were to ray trace it. So like if I was to shine a torch onto the car and it was to cast a shadow from the halo onto the body, you could bake that shadow onto the side of the car. But the problem with baking is that they're not real time. They're not, you know, if you were to take the light away, or if you were to move the car around, that baked shadow would sort of, it's baked, it stays on it. So the purpose of them is to just make the car look more realistic and more appealing when you're doing this. But in some cases, you can get it looking pretty damn good just with baked shadows and textures on it. But yeah, that's what baked shadows are. It's where shadows would be. No, when you ray trace, the baked shadows disappear. So when you turn on ray tracing, everything I've done just goes gone, and then real shadows kick in. So everything you're seeing now is a real shadow, but the real shadows should, in theory, mostly be where there was a baked shadow, because it's the same light source. Why am I doing it then? Because it looks good. It's just something that I do when I'm about to work on a car, when I'm about to start adding textures to it and setting it all up. The car just looks better with the baked with the baked shadows on. And when you're spending so much time looking at something, it just helps that it looks better. It's weird. There's for no other reason other than that. That's it. It's like makeup, you know. Why put makeup on? Because you look better. Well, you don't need to put makeup on yet, but you've got to look at me. So if you're going to look at me, I'll put makeup on so I look better. It's kind of like that. That's a weird, very weird. I don't use makeup, obviously. It's just that kind of a comparison. So yeah, it is a bit futile in some cases. Pascal might know of a different or a productive purpose for using baked shadows, but as far as I know, it's just mostly to give the OpenGL environment a more realistic look. But when you do the ray tracing, they go, and then I think most of the time people spend with just rotating around the model and look at from different angles just because they can. Yeah, pretty much that's why I do it. Yeah, and you can change the like the density of the shadows. You can make them darker, you make them lighter. You've got full control over that. So it just you can build like sort of artificial lighting and artificial shadows with these baked shadows as well. So like the shadows on the ground, they're baked, and so you can use this slider to sort of make them darker, make them lighter, just depending on, is this an internal scene, is it an outdoor scene? You know, depends on your preferences. But yeah, but now like the baked shadows are on, that just looks infinitely better than it did when I first dropped it in. It's difficult to tell because I don't think there's a way of toggling the baked shadows on or off. But if I was able to say this is what it looked like with the shadows off and this is what it looked like with the shadows on, it's night and day in terms of visuals, and it just helps you when you're about to spend hours on something. It just helps. It looks nicer. That's entirely it. Right. How long did it take to make the car? I didn't make the car, mate. It was sent to me from ACFL, they make video game assets for racing simulators. So it's a game mod for Assetto Corsa. So you sit in here in your cockpit and you drive it around the Nürburgring. It is a really good racing mod, actually. It's modeled in 3D Studio Max, and then the racing simulator is Assetto Corsa. but I didn't model it. They just provided me with a model and all the textures. Speaking of which, let's bring in a texture. Let's start with the main body. So shall I decal or shall I diffuse this? Let's diffuse this because it is a UV. So we're going to go into and this is from back in the day when Kimmy was driving. So we'll stick with Seb. Where's the body? Where's the body? Where's the body? Body.dds. And just like that, it starts to look like a car. See, back in 2018, the Ferrari car was shiny. It was painted reflective. But in 2019, they moved to the Red Bull style of paint, which was like a matte, scattered, sort of frozen paint. So I'll have to make a decision later on whether to keep it with like a plasticky sort of matte finish or whether to go down the reflective route. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'd love to know this anisotropy slider. I know, like when you're playing a video game, where if you drag the slide, if you go from like 8 to 16, it's something to do with like the quality of the textures. But I've never noticed any difference in Vred when you go from 8 to 16. Just literally can't see any difference. So I don't know where that actually comes into effect. Sometimes I just set it to 16 just because I know 16 is better than 8, but I don't know. Right, let's drop on the wing. Smoke's not good for a clear brain. It's just until a doctor tells me I'm going to die from it. It's the worst that can happen. Famous last words. Right, wing. Is it this one? That's a PNG. I'm pretty sure it's a DDS that I need to use. Hi. This might work. I thought they had sponsorships on their rear wing. Looks a bit plain. If you want to build a real-time card configurator for end customers who can't achieve expensive cards, you have to bake everything and try to squeeze the most out of OpenGL. Yeah. So there is times where OpenGL is going to be needed. Like a configurator. Yeah, you're right. It's a good use case. Pushing out to a car configurator, you can't really ray trace that. So bake shadows would be good for that. What am I doing? Oh, I know what I was going to do. I've got a driver's helmet. Where did I put it? I think it's in my recycle bin. Driver.fbx. Where's he gone? Okay, that didn't come in. Just come in how I expected it to come in. Looks like something out of Alien. What in the hell is happening here? I think this is an FBX export issue. Get rid of them. Right, I need to keep that. Can I just get rid of all that? Yes. Right. I'll move that to the... Oh, right. Still some stuff I need to get rid of. Delete whatever that is. Delete whatever that is. Keep that. What? So many nodes. So this is from the game engine again. There's a lot of, I think they call them dummies or something like that, that they bake into the model, so that the game engine picks up certain actors or something like that for that the game recognizes bits and pieces. But obviously I don't particularly need these myself. I can get rid of that. Driver rig, get rid of that. So I just need the helmet. Drag him out of there. Get rid of that. Right, where you gone, mate? Why have you turned into a tiny dot? Where you gone? Right, let's scale this bad lad up. 100. Well, that turned out all right. So then I want to rotate him, put that in the center. And then wrong way. Yes. So in an ideal world I would have had the dude's body, but I think from any angle you render this car at, you're not going to see his body or even his arms. So I think just a helmet's probably going to be fine. Push it back there. So it's probably going to be about that level. About there. Is it about center? That's about center, isn't it? Yes, sir. Right. Oh, do you know what? I didn't optimize it. Why is that flashing? Let's try that again. COVID Racing 2020. Is this stream going to be on YouTube with public access? Yeah, I think it does. I think it saves it. Why is it doing that? I think it saves it by default up to YouTube after I finish it. Ah, there we go. Job's good in. Right. So let's drop on the side of the helmet like a bit. Poor Kubica. He got the rough end of the stick the wrong end of the stick last season. RT helmet. Right, let's see if I've got a skin for Vettel's helmet. I think we do. Helmet. Yes, mate. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Anisotropic filtering, you change how the texture is filtered at oblique viewing angles. Oh, is that what it is? But in what situation does that actually make a difference? Because can't say that. Like, so if I drop this down to 0.1, which is very low, I'm not noticing any noticeable drop in quality. And then if I drop that up, if I put that up to 16, literally nothing's changing. Am I missing the point? Antivirus logo on the helmet. The yeah. Right. So I'm going to load in some materials that I've got. I have a selection of pre-created materials. So car paint, wheel paint, leather, carbon fiber, black leather, mirror, plastic, black metal. It works better with tiles that repeat. Okay. Small patterns would create a more if you render them sharp in the distance. Okay. So in what? Okay. I assume there is some circumstances where you have to go higher than 8 or lower than 8. Okay. Right, let's put a bit of carbon onto Sebi's helmet. Okay, that doesn't look very good. I need to increase the pattern size. So X repeat 5 and 5. Is that 10 and 10? Ah, oh, damn it. Wrong one. This one here. Well, I've made a royal loss of that. Wow. I think the helmet needs optimized. But if I do that, it's going to fly all over the shop. Oh no, he's good. He's good. There we go. Right. Wireframe off. So can we go 5 and then 5? Bit weird. Yeah. Carbon fiber, yeah. That's right, bitches. Right, there's no head behind the helmet. We could bring in one of Pascal's little funky men, but it smacks of effort. So Vred's got the render people little dudes. Geometry, is it in geometries? Render people. So you can bring in these gadgets. But I think these guys are going to be way too big for the Formula One car. Hi, I'm about to be crucified. Hey, I'm not putting you in the car. It's not happening. But they've got little put your left leg in, your left leg. Oh, fun time. Right. Let's get some tinted glass. Glass transparent. Isn't there a texture on this bit? Yes, there was. Oh, so good. Seb, mate, you're looking good. Right, pity you've got no body, but... well, that's the new normal. But like when you render it from sort of this angle, you're not going to be able to see that. Yeah, so at that level, you're not going to see it. Greetings to your dog. Where is he? It's a she. It's Peanut. Peanut's downstairs with the wife. And the cat is also a she. And the cat is currently clawing at the door. Because you dare, absolute dare, have the audacity to lock a ragdoll out of a room. They will claw and dig their way to China to try and get into where you are. What PC are you using? It's pretty high. Actually, it was high spec when it was built, but I'm going to refresh it when the next, when the 10th generation Intel i9s come out. It's an i7 8700K, 6 cores. It's de-lidded with liquid metal, which is just a totally unnecessary step that I did because I could. 32 gig of RAM, G-Skill Trident, 3000 megahertz RAM. Graphics cards over the top is 2 RTX 2080 Ti's in SLI, which is very, 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 very useful for this, because when you're rendering on the GPU, that enables me to do this in good for that. And then Samsung 970 Evo solid state drive. I have to leave. Have fun. Don't break it. Thanks very much, Pascal. Thanks for turning up. I'm not going to be too much longer. I can smell tea getting made, so I'm not going to be too much longer. So I'll be doing more of these. It's fun. I sit and do this anyway, mate. This is just fun. This is chilling. But yeah, I'm going to put the card together. There's a texture for every single one of these objects. Like even the suspension arms have a texture, but it's just like a black. It's like someone's went to Photoshop and they've just created a black picture to wrap it around the game asset. But obviously in a rendering engine, we're going to use proper black metal on it. So I'm going to go through and do all that. Pirelli logos on the wheels, mate. Yes, that will be happening. As you can see in the background, this car here, this was the Red Bull car, so I've got the textures for the Pirelli wheels, they're all ready to go. All ready to go. Halo. Don't know what to do about the halo, because the halo does have a texture. There. Oh, it's red, isn't it? Ferrari've got a red halo. Might have to use the... Yeah, I'm going to have to use that texture, aren't I? The problem with using all of these textures is that the entire car gets wrapped in Photoshop images rather than proper materials, which lessens the realism, it lessens the genuine look. Because with a proper model, what you would do, if this was a proper car, you'd go into your asset manager, and then you'd go to like the paints, for example, and then you'd go, I don't know, maybe this is going to be metallic, pick a metallic velvet, and then you drop a metallic velvet onto it, and then when you ray trace that, you can see you've got all these nice highlights reflected from the environment. It's the proper properties of paint. That has a clear coat. The clear coat has a density. It's even got orange. It's got an orange peel effect on it. So when you zoom in, it might not be enabled, but you can turn on orange peel. There you go. So you can see this orange peel effect. So it becomes actual genuine paint. But when you're wrapping the car in a picture, it's not paint. So the more you do that, the less realistic it begins to look. So that's the challenge. That's the challenge I've got with this. It would be nice if, like, I mean, I suppose I could take the DDS file and then I could remove the red from the DDS and then just keep the logos. And then I can apply a red paint to the car and then just UV map the logos onto the car. UV editor tutorial. Oh, I need one of them, mate. I've done none of this. This isn't my work. I didn't create these images. Someone just gave me the model and the texture pack, and I'm just mapping the images onto the car as they've been given to me. So I couldn't even tell you how someone creates a UV map. It's not something I've got any idea how to do. I mean, I'm pretty sure like software does it for the people that do it. You know, in the likes of 3D Studio Max, you would place images onto models, and then I think Max has a way of just unwrapping. I think it unwraps the textures off of the model into a flat picture, and that's the UV map. I think that's how it works. But I mean, look at that. Look at the texture, like the highlight going across the paint there. That's beautiful. That's well nice, but I'm going to struggle to get that kind of effect when it's a body wrapped in a picture. But never mind. We'll. That's the whole part. That's the fun of this, though. That's the fun. It's just the trial and error, and the playing around with it, changing. Like, all right, what if I up the reflectivity? Like, what's that going to do? Nothing. Okay, pig's ear of that. Okay, so you can up the reflectivity, but then it started to go a bit weird. Then you start dragging the sliders around, and you start changing this and that and the other, and then that's the fun of it. That's where the time goes. Before you know it, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, where's my life gone? Maybe I should live stream this instead. And that's where I'm at. You can't get these results in Inventor Studio. Negative on that, mate. No, you're not going to get these kind of results in Inventor Studio. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Actually, you've got this sort of. At least the worry is it looks flat. So when the light hits it, it looks flat, but it doesn't. You've got this scattering of light hitting the model there. That looks pretty good. The one thing that I used to fall foul of was the tire textures. So I'm not going to do this for real, but there's a Pirelli tire texture that comes with the game asset. Rear tire tread. And then when you UV map that, you get sort of this. So it kind of looks sort of like a tyre, but it isn't really a tyre. And it looks really flat and awful. So just on its own, you think, well, it is black and it does have little grooves in it and dints and stuff. That's what a tyre looks like. But yeah, but it's when you render it out, the final image just doesn't look right, and you can't quite put your finger on what doesn't look right. And it's things like that. It's not real. It's a picture. So to make sure I don't fall foul of that, which is what I was when I first got the car. That's what I was doing, and I was like, it just doesn't look right, but it was that. Right, let's get the carbon fiber. Carbon fiber. Let's drop that onto the diffuse. Looks pretty good. I should probably have a reference image to go off. What was this car called? This was the SW71, I think. Well, it couldn't have been because nothing came up in Google for that. What was it called? They've got it as the SW71. When you Google SW71, like literally nothing comes up. Ferrari 2018 F1 car. There we go. So yeah, I need some good reference images to go off to make sure I'm putting the right textures on it. These are all front shots. I need a good one from the back. Wow, so the first back shot we'll get is pitch black. Wow, that's really not helpful. Really not helpful. I could have swore that the cars in 2018 had sponsorships on the wings. Clearly they didn't. I don't know. I'll find a YouTube video of the car or of a F1 race from 2018 and I'll find a good shot. That's another problem as well, the wheel. So for the wheel itself, there's a texture. That's a good quality model. That they've done some decent modeling in there. Wouldn't have expected that in a game asset. So just to repeat, this is ACFL. They still, if you're into your sim racing, they do a mod for the 2020 Formula 1 car as well, which I've bought. ACFL 2020 Formula 1 car. Unfortunately, I don't have the model for that. I've only got the 2018 one. But that's good modeling, that's good attention to detail. But there is a picture for the wheel. But it doesn't come in to turn on the headlight. Nah, you couldn't have that. You'd have to put a proper metal texture on that. I'm surprised though. I was expecting it to have like the OZ logo on it, but it doesn't. Right, I think I'm going to knock it on the head there for today. Actually, I'm going to put the floor on. That's definitely a bit of carbon fibre there. There we go. Seb's chilling. Let's get a final render. How's it doing so far? Save this. That's alright, hadn't it? That looks awesome. That looks awesome. So that's the Substance panorama background, which I've turned visibility off for, because it looks, I mean, the actual physical dome looks gash. But if you just turn that off and then have the gradient, that looks awesome, that like. Good highlights going across the car. That's what makes an image that like, when you get these nice highlights running across the car. Or even if it's not even a car, if it's just whatever it is that you're rendering, it's that scattering of light and those highlights that kind of trick the eye. So yeah, I think this is going to turn out really good. I mean, that's just mental. Enabling GPU ray tracing, look at that, it's gone from 1 and it's nearly up to 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, full render. That's GPU ray tracing. Right, so what we'll do, I'll turn off, put on CPU ray tracing, and then watch how slow this is on the CPU. That's the difference between GPU and CPU ray tracing. 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at that, absolute dog slow, and that's what. And then this is like minimal settings as well. I mean, like, coming to render settings, 512 anti-aliasing passes or samples. We've got 1 IBL sample, so I could probably knock that up to 3. Put this up to 3. And then turn back on CPU ray tracing, and then this will be even slower. Like, it's not even at 1 yet. 1, 2, 3. Wow, that's slow. So that's CPU ray tracing, right? Let's switch it on over to GPU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, that's mental. Can you, I mean, think of in your line of work. Think in your line of work, the things you strive to do to get just a single percentage productivity gain. And in the world of rendering, just going from CPU ray tracing to GPU ray tracing is getting that kind of performance benefit. That's nuts. It's insane. Imagine stacking like 5 or 6 GPUs into a server and then hit and go. All of these render houses, these animation studios who've waited weeks and months for things to render, they are going to be. It's just going to change the game. I mean, there's always like a shift though, because the more power you've got, you then put more demand on the power. So you'll add more elements to the scene. You'll start pushing limits where you otherwise couldn't have done in the past. So you'll ask it to do more. But that's mental. Wow. But yeah, you can do, so all the hype around like real-time ray tracing, like what's that all about? So what you're looking at here, this is real-time ray tracing. that car is being ray traced in real time. So if I drop a light into the scene, so let's drop in a point light, bring that out. Let's turn on the light editor, turn off shadows because that shadow looks dreadful. Crank it up to, I don't know, 10. Right. So as I move this light around, you can see the light sort of interacting with the car in real time. So that is real-time ray tracing that you're looking at there. But it's noisy, and that's kind of part of the challenge at the moment. This is first generation real-time ray tracing. The current hardware, like the RTX hardware, isn't really good enough to do real-time ray tracing without any noise at all. So what they've done is they've implemented denoising. So you go into your rendering settings and you turn on the artificial intelligence deep learning based denoiser, and then it uses deep learning to calculate where it looks at the noise in the scene, all that grain, and then it uses deep learning to assume what should be inside all that noise. And then you can do better real-time ray tracing without the noise. But it's still very, very jerky. But if you're a visualization artist and you're moving your scene around and you're positioning a car or you're positioning a product prior to doing the final render that you know is going to take hours to do, this is a huge help to making sure that you know all the lights and the shadows and that are going to be in the right place before you do the... How many times have you done a render in Inventor or any program and then you've waited all night for the finish, and then you realize, oh, for God's sake, there's like a rogue light somewhere, or there's an object that shouldn't have been where it was, and you've, for God's sake, you've got to start it again. This is like a proof of concept before you hit the big go button. 2018 model, no decals of. So there was no decal. I mean, to be honest, I don't stare at the wheels that much, but yeah, that Ferrari 2000. Oh, it's a scale model. So you're saying that they didn't have any OZ decals on the 2018 wheel? That's not helpful. Yeah, if there wasn't, there wasn't. That's fine. Just curious. Okay, these have all got motion blur on them. No, there wasn't any. That's fine. Right. Okie dokie. So that's a pretty decent turnout for my live stream. So I think 40 in the end turned out, which isn't too bad. So I think for the next one, I'll announce it in advance. I'll try and figure out how to do that, so everyone knows it's coming. So don't forget, I've probably missed a ton of questions. I've probably missed a ton of comments from people asking stuff because I'm looking at what's going on here. But if there is anything that you want us to answer or anything you want noticed, don't forget you can utilize the super chats to get a comment flash up on screen. That will be there for supporting the channel as well. So, ta very much. Thanks a lot. Yes, I know I got surprised. I know it's one of those things. It's like you're cracking on with your life and you think, right, I've got an hour. I can do a stream. I'll just go and do it right now, rather than having it planned in advance. But yeah, I'll plan that. I'll schedule the next one, and then it's probably wiser. Right. Ta very much, you lot. Thanks for turning up. The video will be, I think it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to go up on YouTube, but then it's live like any other video. So thanks for turning up. I'll see you in the next one.